Mists of Pandaria hype! Okay, that was a little cringe, but damn, there's a lot of people online and ready to play Pandaria Classic. Yo! It's CJ, and I'm a 20-year WoW veteran that's going to tell you about my first 24 hours in Pandaria Classic. So, to kick us off, I tried to start questing in the Jade Forest to see if I could get ahead of the pack. On the Horde side, the gunship quest had so much competition that you just couldn't complete it. As you can see on screen, there's just no mobs spawning, and there's probably 100 people on the cannon below you that you're competing against. On top of that, the lag was real. You can see me struggling to mine ghost iron ore right here. And then the disconnects start. It wouldn't be your classic launch without some classic disconnects. I kept logging in and trying to run as far as I could to the Valley of the Four Winds while trying to collect that sweet ghost iron ore on the way. But the world server had other plans for everyone on Mancreek. I realized pretty quickly you were only going to get XP if you're inside of a dungeon. So I made it to Stormstout Brewery, then I tried to solo some monkey runs. But I didn't really look up any strategies myself, so I died once or twice and just said screw it, I'm going to queue some random dungeons. So then I used my Cloak of Orgrimmar to teleport to Orgrimmar and learn the next rank of mining since I forgot to train it before I left. I then also sold some ghost iron bars for 250 gold each. At that point, it gets a little blurry for me because I essentially got really stoned and locked myself into Dungeon Finder from level 85 to 90, which is exactly how I got this character to 85 in the first place. I ended up leveling his protection for faster queues, and random dungeons can actually be really good if you have geared DPS with you. But also, Temple of the Jade Serpent. There is way too much roleplay that goes on in that dungeon. I was getting half of the XP per hour that I was getting in all of the other dungeons because of the time that you're wasting just waiting for NPCs to finish their dialogue. At level 87, I went back to Stormstout Brewery to start attempting some monkey runs, and it was pretty successful too. If you don't know, monkey runs are quick runs in Stormstout Brewery where you essentially pull all of the elite and non-elite monkeys up to the first boss and then kill them all. You can add in killing the first boss too, but it will slow down your XP per hour. All tank specs should be able to solo this with decent gear, and 2 to 5 manning is also an option since it's going to drastically increase your kill speed in each run. I was getting around 8 mil XP per hour, and I started getting a lot more once I started getting faster with the dungeon. Whenever I'd hit my instance lockout, I'd just queue Dungeon Finder and get into another one. And with that said, there was actually a few groups I found in Dungeon Finder that competed with the XP per hour I was getting in the solo runs, but those DPS had some really good gear and not everyone in the queues did. I imagine that the longer that it takes you to level up to 85, the more likely you're going to start running into people with alts that have even less gear than what I was dealing with, so it might be tough sailing. I'd say that if you find a good group in your random dungeon queues and you're the leader, try and instantly queue for another dungeon the second that your first one completes. That way you can take advantage of the instant queues and you're not waiting 10 minutes between each. Even as a tank, I was getting 2 to 3 minute queues. I also tried queuing a few battlegrounds, but the XP per hour just wasn't worth it. I did get 700k XP for winning a battle for Gilneas, but when I lost a game, I only got 50,000 XP for 10 minutes of my time. If you've got a good pre-made that can pull off quick and easy wins, battleground leveling could actually be a decent strategy, but I doubt you're going to compete with solo monkey runs. It's just a niche leveling strategy for you PvPers that don't want to interact with the story through quests or dungeons. I eventually hit level 90 after what seemed like a long time. I wouldn't say I had a bad time playing the game, but it felt like it was longer than it needed to be. I think a sub 10 hour grind is a lot more digestible. That said, it's not necessarily intended for you to do all in one sitting, and that's probably where I went wrong. If you just take your time and pace yourself, you're going to enjoy the experience a lot more. With that being said, if you've hit level 90, drop a comment down below and let me know, should they increase or decrease the leveling speeds? Also, let me know what your plan is for Mists of Pandaria. I'd love to know your goals for your characters. Now that I'm level 90, next step is to get to Shrine of the Two Moons and get my Pandaria flying. I hearthed through the Veil Stair where I accepted my legendary questline. Then, when checking the flight path to see if I could get to Kunlai Summit, I noticed that I suddenly just had the flight path to Shrine of the Two Moons, which is where I was going anyways. So, with that problem solved, I flew over and picked up my Pandaria flying for 2,500 gold. Then I flew over to the Justice and Valor vendors to pick up new bracers and gloves. I then queued 2 heroics before going to bed, but I only got a leg upgrade for my protection spec, which is my off spec. And with that said, I was actually really surprised with the difficulty of heroics. I expected mobs to start trucking me with a ton of damage, and when I think back to the Cataclysm heroics, like, they did that. This time through, it just felt like the exact same normal dungeons I had just spammed for the last 15 hours. There was no intense damage, there's no massive increase to mob health, it just seemed like the same stuff I was already doing. So if you're trying to rush to 90 because you think that there's some really difficult grind there that you can't wait for, I'd maybe pump the brakes a little bit. It's just going to be a chill casual grind until raids release and Celestial Dungeons come out. As long as you can hit max level and give yourself a few days to gear, you're going to be fine. One last thing to mention is that there are insane gold margins on the auction house right now. So make sure that you stay on top of your profession recipes and check out if you can make some easy gold at the auction house. A reminder that the add-on I absolutely love for this is called Auctionator. And if you want to know what methods I'm using, they're the same ones I've covered in my recent videos. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, share it with a friend, and also subscribe to my channel for more Classic WoW content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace!